Without a doubt in my mind, Uta is the One Piece movie villain I've enjoyed the most, especially compared to people like Z or Shiki. I wanted to do a video talking about why I enjoyed her so much, why I think she works so well as a villain, and what about her as a villain is so distinct from every other One Piece villain in the entire series, besides maybe Big Mom. But the main thing I wanted to do in this video was to get a deep dive onto why she does the things she does. I think that if we look at her as a character, there's a huge tragic element to her character that is very underrepresented in discussions about her. Most people just say she's very emotionally erratic and trash. Again, very similar to how people view Big Mom in this fan base. And I know a lot of people don't like Big Mom, but I like Big Mom, and I think that Uta and her share a lot of similarities in the way they're written. And this video is going to completely spoil Film Red, so if you haven't seen it or want to see it, I'd recommend you watch this video after you've seen the movie. I decided to make a sub goal, 10,000 subs, and I get a One Piece tattoo. If you're interested, subscribe, let's get into this. Now, luckily for us, Film Red is actually a musical, so we get to see Uta's insight into not only her goals, but the way she feels about herself and other people through songs. And this is by far the most useful thing to get an insight on her character. So I'm going to be doing a deep dive on each of the songs she has throughout the film and sort of analyze them in order to get a gist of what exactly she's going through at the time. After all, where there is no more hope, song remains. Very fitting for Uta's character. And while I'm going to show the visuals of the music videos that accompanied each of these songs, I'm not going to necessarily count them for analyzing Uta's character. They do give us insight into something I think is already evident, so that's pretty cool, but I'm not going to say this proves the point, because Oda might not have had any involvement in these visuals. Now, I'm not going to count the Top Musica song that Uta sang in the film because 1, she didn't write the song, and 2, Top Musica is pretty dumb, but we'll get back to that later. Hello people of the future, it's me. This is currently November 5th, day after Film Red came out. What I'm gonna do right now is sort of look at all the lyrics that Uta was, singing. I saw some lines in the movie, but I didn't catch all of them, and I was like, whoa, hold on. Choose a way of the future, try a brand new path. Say goodbye to everyone who stands against us. Okay, immediately. No one has the power to stop a change that comes through music. That's true. Close your eyes and you can see the future before you. Like, cause what, they fall asleep. Okay. Just let me live inside a dreamland. I wanna be free. Now let us go hand in hand to a light that lies ahead. Dying, okay. I know it's the long way round, but there's no way I'm backing out now. Okay. Scattered memories pierce through sadness. I've left a miserable grudge behind for his sake. You've got no idea what it's like to be painfully lonely. Just for now, let loose. I'm not sleepy anymore? Reality is overrated. You're not gonna outthink me. I thought of everything. You'll never get it. You can't keep up, so just stay out of my way. Don't need nothing in return. Stay with me or I will freak out. Wow, okay. Just you and I. No ending in sight. It'll be super fun. Maniacal laugh. She really wants to help these people, but again, it's like, I thought about this in the movie because Big Mom was in the movie. Huge Big Mom energy from her plan and like not wanting the people to leave and all that. Thank God I believe that one day we'll meet again and continue this dreamland. Into the gleaming dawn, we'll wake up once again. Okay, so this is crazy. Because you could say, oh, it's all for the people's attention, but it's not. It's because she wants love from Shanks. That's clearly what's happening. Let me keep on living this waking dream. There's no waking me. Let's dream on. Clearly, Uta has a lot of stuff going on and a lot of baggage, but did this lead to anything in particular growing inside of her? Well, personally, I think so. I do think that Uta has shown some very serious signs of symptoms of borderline personality disorder, especially so with the use of the wake shrooms that she's had throughout the entirety of Film Red. Now before I delve into this, I just want to reiterate something really quick. I am not a doctor, so I'm not one to just say this is absolutely true. This is just some interesting connections that I saw between this disorder and the way Uta was written in Film Red. Some of the most prevalent symptoms of borderline personality disorder are an intense fear of abandonment, even going to extreme measures to avoid real or imagined separation or rejection, a pattern of unstable, intense relationships, such as idealizing someone of one moment and then suddenly believing the person doesn't care enough or is cruel, periods of stress-related paranoia and loss of contact with reality, lasting from a few minutes to a few hours, impulsive and risky risky behavior, suicidal threats, or behavior of self-injury, often in response to fear or separation from rejection. Wide mood swings lasting from a few hours to a few days, which can include intense happiness, irritability, shame, or anxiety. Ongoing feelings of emptiness, inappropriate, intense anger, such as frequently losing your temper, being sarcastic or bitter, or having physical fights. While there is no concrete cause for borderline personality disorder, there are many things that could lead to this disorder forming in someone, including environmental factors such as being a victim of emotional, physical abuse, being exposed to long-term fear or distress as a child, being neglected by one or both parents, or growing up with another family member who had a serious mental health condition. Now before I talk about Uta, let me talk about Big Mom really quick. Now, Big Mom is a literal menace to society. She's incredibly selfish, only wanting everything for herself and not really caring about anyone else except if they're children, like with Tama in the raid on Onigashima. Uta is actually the exact opposite. She cares so much about everyone else that she has no real care about herself and views herself as essentially nothing, especially since the only person in the world who did care about her genuinely as a child abandoned her like she was nothing. And I know that isn't actually how it happened, but this is from Uta's point of view, and that's how she viewed Shanks leaving her. Uta and Big Mom try to create these dream worlds where everyone can do whatever they want and be safe, but with Big Mom, if they try to leave, she'll just try and kill them. However, Uta's plans are honestly a lot more sinister, yet also a lot more innocent at the same time. Uta wants to ensure everyone is safe, so she creates this dream world where no one will even have the opportunity to leave. But she's not going to necessarily try and kill them to get their way. She's going to try and kill herself in order for this to stay possible. She has very little self-worth in her opinion, only being able to lift up others and help them get away from the world. There's nothing for her to live for, so there's nothing for her to lose by dying, which is really messed up, obviously, because so many people care about her, and she's using their care for her as a way to manipulate them. But this is just one of the things that I think makes Uta so deeply fascinating in my opinion. She acts so much like a villain. She acts just like Big Mom does, but she's so completely different because she's so wholesome and virtuous about actually trying to help these people. And I can't help but feel attached to this character because I find her goals so endearing, yet her method of going about it so tragic, because she really does want to help, but really all she really wants is love. Throughout the film, we see her have hundreds and hundreds of fans all over the world, so much so that 80% of the world is going to be taken to this new world because they're listening to her music. But all she really wants is one single person to pay attention to her, Shanks. Shanks was Uta's only paternal figure in the entirety of One Piece, until Gordon basically took up that role after Shanks abandoned Uta. Uta doesn't realize that Shanks only abandoned her to ensure that she wouldn't find out that she caused the problems that caused them to leave in the first place. It's a very complicated scenario, but nevertheless, it goes to show that Shanks is really caring about Uta, but Uta just doesn't realize it, since she's so young and doesn't want to be hurt. Like I said, Top Musica is kinda dumb, but it's a good vehicle to get this idea across. She's abandoned as a child, but doesn't realize that he's only leaving her for her own good, and for her to realize that she isn't some monster. But now it all comes back to the stupid music demon that's the centerpiece of this entire plot. Why did Uta decide purposely to bring this music demon back to life after she realized she was the one who caused Shanks to abandon her? Did she do it all in a desperate act to finally get his attention, or did she do it because she really did want everyone to come into this one world by destroying both worlds at the same time? In actuality, I believe that the Top Musica idea was created to be a sort of mirror of Uta herself. This monster is the embodiment of all of her guilt, her anger, her regret, everything revolving around Shanks, which is why Shanks and Luffy are the ones who have to stop it in the real world and Uta's dream world simultaneously. Uta desperately clings to the innocence of her childhood and wishes for it to return so she can have a life with Shanks and Luffy. She wants to help everyone else in the world and ensure that they have the same innocence, but in reality, the only way she's able to do this is to create the same monster that she summoned all the way back when she was a child. And even though I feel like a lot of people might find this as incredibly unreasonable, we have to think about the character that she is relying on for her entire existence. The most mysterious character in the entire series besides maybe Emu? Shanks being incredibly distant from the main plot is the point of his character. Shanks is the goal that Luffy is trying to strive for, to be someone that's his level and to be someone that's his equal. and Uta is the exact same way. However, Shanks continuously neglecting her over and over again has only caused her problems to become worse and for her to become a lot more erratic and desperate to get his attention. I can honestly understand why Uta was so desperate to see Shanks that she would even decide to destroy the world. Her destroying the world actually saves most of the world and gets rid of mostly bad people. It's a very utilitarian approach, but dismisses all the importance of what these people had in their own lives. It's a very naive, childlike, and innocent view of the world, which is honestly fitting for someone who's only learned about the truth of the world a year before the events of this film. So, I can understand her not really thinking about everything in the grand scheme and only viewing herself and Shanks as the important characters in the world. And now, when I think about Uta being a canon character in the story, it makes me wonder, what exactly is her role in the story going to be? Shanks is clearly reminiscing about her in the past, in Wano right now. I think it would be really cool to see Shanks and Uta have this nice bonding experience after seeing her suffer for such a long time. And I know people might not like that. People did like her dying, apparently at the end of the film. I personally didn't think she died, but that's just my opinion. I just hope that Uta and Shanks are able to be happy together in the main narrative. And if she is dead, that's Shanks' tragedy right there. This is gonna be a lot better fuel because we already know about who Uta was. I haven't felt this passionately about diving into a character since Yasuo from JoJolion, who's another character that I feel has a lot of trauma and sadness in them. I really do want to do more character analysis stuff, especially for some of my favorites, but this one felt a lot more emotionally charged, so I wanted to do this one especially, rather than talking about why I love this character so much and why I think this character is so cool. But let me know. There are a lot of characters I'd love to talk about, so with that, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider supporting the channel. We're almost at 2K subs, which is pretty crazy, and I feel like if we push through, we can definitely get there by the end of the year. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoy.